Here are 3 razors you can use to quickly trim fats and be a better problem solver. Occam's razor is the most popular and also most misused. Named after William of Ockham, a 14th century English philosopher and theologian, the principle is often cited as the simplest explanation is the best one. What Occam's razor really posits is entities must not be multiplied beyond necessity. It builds upon the idea that the more variables you have in an argument, the harder it is to verify and execute. Therefore, when faced with 2 competing theories with the same level of explanatory power, the simpler approach is preferred. However, as we gather more insights and data, it creates support for complexity, allowing the theory to evolve and be more contextualized. Occam's razor is useful for quick deductions or when we do not have empirical evidence. We must remember that it's rooted in practicality, a reminder to not overcomplicate issues beyond our current means. It is not a shortcut to decision making. Henlon's razor applies the principle of Occam's razor but for interpersonal relationships. It states that one should never attribute to malice that which is adequately explained by stupidity. In other words, of all the possible motives behind someone's action, it is more likely to be caused by the path of least resistance. For example, laziness, carelessness, or ignorance takes very little energy to execute compared to active malice. If someone misses you out from an email, it's probably because it slipped their mind than for it to be intentional. It is natural to have your guard up when someone does something suspicious. Self-preservation is a survival instinct and there is nothing wrong with that, especially towards co-workers or friends who have demonstrated toxic behavior patterns. However, if we were to always assume malice, we are putting ourselves in the center of everyone else's worlds. This is why narcissists tend to be paranoid that everyone is out to get them, because they think that it's always about them. Henlon's razor is a mindfulness reminder not to dismiss our feelings, but to be aware of the probabilities when we are making a judgment call. Hitchens' razor. Christopher Hitchens first wrote, "What can be asserted without evidence can also be dismissed without evidence." This phrase was later popularized as Hitchens' razor after he passed. It implies that the burden of proof lies with the one who makes the claim, and if proof is not provided, then the claim is unfounded and can be dismissed without challenge. There is a lot of controversy around this. Firstly, the idea of Hitchens' razor refutes itself. Hitchens' claim is stated without evidence, thereby rendering itself dismissible. Next, there are arguments over whether Hitchens' razor fosters intellectual responsibility and open-mindedness. When the burden of proof lies with the individual who makes the claim, it emphasizes the importance of critical thinking and research to put forth well-reasoned and evidence-based arguments. This intellectual responsibility is especially favored in cases where Hitchens' razor aligns with scientific principles, and hypotheses must be supported by empirical evidence. It also encourages individuals to be more discerning and raise healthy skepticism towards flimsy or flawed claims, preventing misinformation and pseudoscience. On the other hand, this principle can also be abused to be overly dismissive and can lead to prematurely rejecting ideas without any basis. This leaves very little room for exploratory or speculative ideas that lack immediate evidence, but with support could lead to new perspectives and innovations. It also assumes that the standard of proof is universal across all disciplines, limiting philosophical, theological, and even ethical debates where concepts are often not empirically verifiable. What's interesting about the last point is that when Christopher Hitchens penned this phrase, it was in support of atheism, and Hitchens' razor was applied to cow and refute religious claims. Regardless of what you feel towards the original context of Hitchens' razor, we have identified areas where its principle is extremely valuable, especially in an era where deepfakes and AI accelerates the propagation of fake news. Hitchens' razor is a reminder for us to carry healthy skepticism and mindfulness when consuming content. It is also a reminder that debates are a platform for us to share differing perspectives with the intent to understand and grow. It is not a boxing ring where there can only be one winner. While we want to be responsible in putting forth our claims, we also want to be responsible in refuting that of others. It is important to note that philosophical razors and mental models are not absolute, but frameworks to be applied to relevant situations. They are tools that we can use, should we choose to guide us in our thinking. If you'd like to see more such content, do like, comment, and subscribe as you really help the channel out.